Greetings everybody and welcome back to the Bitcoin Bridge. Now, blockchain identity systems. We hear a lot about that. I've been hearing about it for years. The idea of having a portable identity that you can take anywhere and just sign up for services with the click of a button. It sounds like an awesome idea. And the idea's been around for quite a while, but very few people have been able to make it work. Now, Fung of MetaID says that he can make it work, and not only that, but it's working pretty well already, with thousands of users, all recorded on the MetaNet. So anyway, without further ado, let's go over to China, where we're going to talk to Fung about Showpay, MetaID, and just identity in general. Sunny, welcome to the Bitcoin Bridge. It's good to have you on the show.
Hello, John. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. It's my honor.
Your honor. Oh, no problem at all. We're honored to have you. Now, once again, you're very well known in China, but I think a lot of people outside China are not familiar with your projects. You're famous as the CEO of Showpay and Showpay's other related projects. And today I want to talk to you about MetaID as well. So before we start, could you just give us an introduction to yourself and your background, and tell us, how you came to be in Bsv?
Yes, sure. I am Sunny Fung. I am the founder and CEO of Showpay Limited, which is a company based on Hong Kong, but our developer team is located in Guangdong, China. In the past year, we are dedicated to build a decentralized identification system based on MetaNet, which we call MetaID. We have initiated the MetaID protocol and built the infrastructure of MetaID, and also built a bunch MetaNet application that's based on MetaID to demonstrate the capability and the potential of MetaID. Yes, that's what we have done in the past 1 year.
Now, MetaID is a way to record identity information on the blockchain so that it can be used on various apps. You have a portable ID that you can just take from service to service. And I think you can use it in the real world too, not just online. Is that right?
Yes, the MetaID is designed for building real world application. And we hope that everyone on the earth use the MetaID based application daily. In the future, if everyone use MetaID based application, I think he could get a lot of benefits from the MetaID based application. The first, and the people just need one mnemonic to use all MetaID based application. User have no longer to remember many mnemonics anymore. And the second, all the user data, including the account information, are stored on the blockchain, so users can truly own their data. And the third, the application based on MetaID could break information silo. The problem of the information isolated island would be totally solved. Imagine users in Facebook could communicate with users in Twitter. Therefore, users no longer have to worry about that the society platform will steal their data, or their data would be lost when the social platform go bankrupt. So in short, MetaID could turn application or platform centric into user centric. Yes, that's what we want the MetaID to be.
I'm very interested in the topic of blockchain ID because I have a problem where almost every identity document I have is in Japanese. And so if I sign up for a service that's not in Japan, they look at it and they say, what is this? Please translate this for us. And then that's extra hassle, which means there's a lot of services I don't sign up for. So it'd be really great to have a system that was there all the time, and I could just click a button and use it. Could you give us some, say, some real world scenarios where MetaID might be used?
MetaID application could be replace every aspect of the internet application. Yes, including the online logins and the accounts and every internet application. Yes, for example, the social media. If the social media is built on the MetaID, it will be much better than nowadays application. Yes, and the user can own their data, and the application cannot steal the user's data, and the different application that can communicate with each other.
Already in the Bitcoin SV ecosystem, we have a system where people can sign up for different services using their existing wallets. So, you know, I can sign up for Twitch using my Money Button wallet or my Handcash wallet, and I can switch them out whenever I want to. So, what extra information does MetaID have, and how does that work?
The Money Button and the Handcash and some other wallets that they did not store your account data on the blockchain. For example, your name in the Money Button is Jon Southurst, right? The information of your name is not stored on the blockchain.
Right.
They store on the Money Button server. And your login account and etc. and some information is not stored in the blockchain too. So MetaID is a decentralized identifier system. So in non-technical terms, MetaID store all users' data on the blockchain and set a set of rules of where the data is stored in and how to access the data. Therefore, applications know the transaction is belong to whom and what's the meaning of the transaction. And I would like to, in the technical terms, MetaID is a subprotocol of MetaNet. So MetaID transaction is a standard MetaNet format transaction. MetaID will create a single MetaNet data tree for every single user and define the TXID of the root of the MetaNet tree as the identification of every user. And the other information of the user, such as the nickname, such as the avatar, etc., is stored in the specific nodes of the MetaNet tree. And so the same as the application data, every application defines and uses a specific subprotocol of the MetaID to store and access the data in the specific node of the MetaNet tree. Yes, it is a brief introduction of how the MetaID works.
The technical background, yeah. I'll have to trust that it does work on the technical end because I'm not such a technical guy myself, but I'm also interested in the legal end of it. So how do you know if the information people are uploading to their MetaID protocol is actually true? How do you verify that?
Yes, because the MetaID is based on MetaNet. MetaNet is a protocol that how to store the data on the blockchain, and and the MetaNet protocol can verify the data is true or not.
Really?
Is it? Yes, yes. This is the power of the MetaNet.
Mm-hmm. But
Yes,
what if
MetaNet
I?
itself has the authentication.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
There's no worry about the data is true or not.
Right, I see. I guess my question is, what happens if someone, a criminal or someone else decides to create a fake identity using a blockchain system? So we know once the information is on the blockchain, then that can be
Yes.
verified. But
Yeah.
what happens if I create a fake ID, a fake identity, and I upload all of that information to MetaID or a similar service? How does anyone know whether that is real or if it's fake?
I think it's hard to define what is true or what is fake on the MetaNet because you pay the minor fee
Mm-hmm.
and upload the data you want to the blockchain. And if the data is not created by you, it is not the it is not MetaNet information. So the data MetaNet data service provider can will know your information is true or not. But your data is created by you.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to define what is fake or what is true because it is all up to you, right? You can you can upload some information. For example, you can change your name to another name to somewhat is not John. But the blockchain has no ability to identify this name is true or not, right?
Right.
So every information you pay for the miner, uh, it is a transaction that can be accepted. Yes.
So I think the system, it would probably need some kind of official approval, say from a government agency or official identity document issuing agency, that kind of thing. Because you complete a KYC procedure when you sign up for an exchange or a wallet.
Um,
And
yes, yes. The KYC is very important for many applications, especially in the filings, the filings and some government documents, etc. The MetaID is the base of the KYC.
mm,
Yes, the application can be do the KYC easily with the MetaID.
would you need some third party service? Say one of those verification services that exist, just to make sure that the documents you're submitting are real.
Not yet. We have not built that system.
Okay, right. Yeah. It's probably something that needs to be included at some point in the future, I think.
Yes, yes, but that is the feature a bit far away. The MetaID is now providing the basic infrastructure of the KYC. Yes.
Right. Because I'm interested in this topic, I've been talking to people who've been building blockchain ID systems for many years now, probably since about 2015 or so. And so far, none of them have been widely accepted. Do you know why that is?
Because I think because before the Bsv blockchain, there is not a blockchain that can be scaled,
Right.
and the TPS is very low. Yes, and after the BSV, the blockchain, so we have a blockchain that can scale and can have high performance blockchain from there. But the BSV blockchain is based on the POW and UTXO model. And the UTXO model is not account-based model. It's not similar to Ethereum or EOS. So in the past, it is no decentralized ID system that's based on UTXO model, the UTXO model for a blockchain. Right. Because the UTXO model is some kind of the model of spreading the transaction.
Yeah.
Yes, and the MetaNet solved this problem. MetaNet is a technical to make the spread transaction and to 1 point. Yes. So based on MetaNet, it provides a probability to build a decentralized ID system. So the MetaNet is the white paper of MetaNet is published in about, I think, June 2019.
That's right.
Yes, it's 2 years before.
Yeah.
And we just find that if ID decentralized ID system if built on MetaNet, it's very easy to implement the features of the decentralized ID system. So we try to try this in the past 1 year.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear people talking about the MetaNet again, because I don't hear that word too much these days.
Yes. MetaNet is a very great thing, and I think the white paper of the MetaNet is the second important white paper in the blockchain industry.
Good point.
Of course, the first important is the Bitcoin white paper.
Of course, yes.
But there is a few people talking about MetaNet. Yes.
Yeah, we used to hear the word a lot in the early days, but the early days of BSV. But recently, it's just all tokens, protocols. I'm glad we're hearing MetaNet again. So tell me, is MetaID available to sign up now?
Oh, yes. The MetaID is quite ready for the developers and the users now.
Oh, okay.
There are more. Yes, everyone can sign up today. In fact, there are more than 4,000 MetaID users all over the world.
Huh.
Yes, and there are all the users' record can find on the blockchain, so everyone can verify this. And there are more than 10 MetaID based applications online. And yes, I would like to give some more brief history of the MetaNet.
Go for it.
We initiated the MetaID protocol in May 2020, and we published the white paper of MetaID in June 2020. We built the first MetaID based application the next month. And so we have spent more than 10 months to verify the concept and the infrastructure of MetaID. And it seems to work well now. So I recommend everyone who has not yet registered MetaID to create one, because I think you might get one sooner or later.
I think they
MetaID is MetaID is quite hot in the past 1 week in Chinese community. You can check it on the blog, Bit blog live, Bitcoin blog.live. That's more than 80% of the transaction fees in the Bsv is contributed by the MetaID based application.
That's right. Really?
Yes. So yes, everybody can sign up for it now.
I did not know that. That's good to. What languages are you available in?
English and Chinese are both works.
And what's the address people can go to?
MetaID.io is the website, is the official website of the MetaID. And every MetaID based application provides the sign up and login features. So just log in every MetaID based application, such as Showpay, which is a Twitter-like application. Yes.
Okay, I heard you mention Showbuzz there. I know Showpay has a number of sort of sub projects going on, like Show Talk, Showbuzz, Show App. Could you just tell us a little bit about those ones?
Oh, well, there's a big question. In fact, the number of projects we are doing is even more. Why do we have to work on so many projects? That's because MetaID is about an ecosystem. In order to push forward MetaID quickly, we need to build a series of infrastructures and the development resources and related application on our own. And the infrastructure projects include the following. And the first, the so many, which is the first wallet that supports MetaNet. It provides all necessary APIs for all MetaID based application. Yeah, it is just some kind like the money button.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and the second infrastructure is Showman. Showman is the MetaNet data service provider that provides all MetaNet or MetaID data. It is just some kind like the underwriters plan area, you know.
Yeah. That's called Showman.
Yeah, yes, and yeah, Showman is something like the Planaria.
Yeah.
Underwriter.
It's a great name.
And we have set up some developer resources projects, and as I just mentioned, that the MetaID.io, I write it down. Okay, I don't know which that is. MetaID.io.
Excellent.
Yes, MetaID.io, which is the official website of MetaID. You can find MetaID protocol and some useful links on that website. Yes, and another website for developer is MetaID101.com. Yes.
Right, got it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Which is a portal for all MetaID developers. You can find a bunch of articles about MetaID, and you can study how to build a MetaID-based application on that website. And also, we have set up some MetaID-based application for users, such as Showpay, which is a Twitter-like website, and such as Metaload.app, which is Evernote-like application. It's a load on the blockchain.
I used to use
it. Yes, but I'm not going to introduce them all in details.
That's good.
So in short, if you are a developer, you can start from the website MetaID.io. If you are a common user, please start from the website, from the Showbuzz. I think people will be familiar. with that super.app. Yeah, it's a
Perfect.
Twitter-like or Treasure-like online application. Yes, but it's totally based on MetaID.
When I said it's great that you're not going to
Yes.
talk about these in detail, it's because I want you to come back on this show later on and tell us about all of the other things in more detail.
Okay.
So, for now, we'll get everyone to head over to MetaID. So, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Sonny, for coming on. And you've got the Bsv Boot Camp coming up next week, I think. Will you be talking there?
Yes.
Excellent.
Of course, we have a full day of the MetaID. Yes, we will have about 4 presentation of the MetaID, and we'll give detailed introduction of the MetaID, and we also have a workshop of the MetaID. Yes, we will, and my team and other developer team will build a simple MetaID based application in half a day.
Half a day challenge.
Yes, and yes, because MetaID is very simple in fact, and we have done a lot of infrastructure of the MetaID, so it is very easy to build something on the MetaID.
Great. All right. Well, when that boot camp is all done, I want to talk to you again and hear all about it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Sonny, and we'll see you next time.